Hi, this is Steph Hinton from Get to the Roots
And this is June Bunch from Lyrical Ladies.
on Sunshine 96.7 FM WMTB LP St. Petersburg, where local music lives.
Today, we're interviewing singer-songwriter Charlie Pace, a singer-songwriter familiar with the stage since age 7, joining us from her hometown of the Everglades, where she decorates listeners' eardrums with anything from blues to the avant-garde. So I guess my first question for you, Charlie, is where did this powerful voice come from? Is it voice training or hours of mimicking the greats?
It's a little mixture of everything. I didn't take lessons for a very long time. I took them when I was around 14, very briefly, just to make sure I wasn't hurting myself. Because that's very important if you're a vocalist. Please work on breath work, everybody. Come on, we can do it together. Um, but a lot of it was imitation. I had a lot of Motown CDs, blues CDs, um vocalists like Aretha Franklin. I just wanted to imitate Etta James. I literally like would just sit there and try the rippage and just try and project in a way that wouldn't hurt me. And I fell in love with it. I couldn't stop doing it. And then I found rock music and I just started, it's all imitation. That's how I learned how to sing 100%. So, those really powerful vocals I got from all of these other powerful singers. I just like collected it like it's a part of my toolkit. I like it all. Boom 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 boom. Boom boom boom. I still do that to this day. The way that I practice is I'll put it on my headphones and I lift an ear and I will practice. That's how I learned how to do control from like Joni Mitchell and how she did her vocals. So, yeah, imitation. Fake it till you make it.
I
Good
love it.
teachers.
So, I would like to ask, so I really like your lyrics. I noticed that last year when I first heard you perform on the Flora Folk Show. So, what inspires your lyrics?
A lot of it was my early life, especially on the last album. But I even dive into politics. I think I was about 15 when I started not agreeing with my peers' opinions. I didn't quite understand the need for hate against anybody that wasn't like a white straight cis man. I didn't understand that and I didn't get it. So I started writing about that at a pretty young age because I got into punk rock way too young of an age. But yeah, so I like to see myself as an observer. I absorb the world around me and I interpret it through song. And lyrically, I try to not only tell a story, but send you to another world or show you a piece of my heart that is slightly uncomfortable to hear because I feel like us sharing our emotions is what connects us closer. So pretty much I take inspiration from absolutely everything in anything. So yeah, it's just the world is a beautiful, violent, amazing, weird place. And I just like to put it in words the best way I can.
Well spoken. Uh,
Thank you.
so when did you start kind of feeling at home on stage? You make all of these things, and then all of a sudden, you're spilling guts to humans, and I know there are phases of that comfort. When did you have that eureka moment that you're like, this is it, I'm good here?
Honestly, I was always a really shy kid. And for some reason, like if I talk one-on-one with a person off stage, I am soft-spoken and I'm very gentle and I'm not this crazy person that runs around and does like gets on the ground and like belts. It's just I don't know what happens to me on stage. I guess my aha moment was like the second somebody gave me a microphone. I was like, "Oh, it's time to be a clown. It's time to be the mascot for the band." It's just something just lights up and I can't help it, honestly. I just completely black out and I don't really think about who's in front of me, unless it's like somebody I want to impress, like another singer or like a crazy drummer or something. And I'm like, guys, don't look at me, please. But yeah, I guess the aha moment was just the second they just let me go. Just let me go. And I was like 7 singing the national anthem. And I just wanted to do more and more and more and more and more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what is it like playing in the Everglades City area? I know it's kind of more of a secluded community. You do have a lot more developments around you now than there used to be in that part of Florida, but it's still kind of its own little mini microcosm.
Yeah, it is. Think of the smallest town you know, and then like shrink it down and add an alligator on top of it. That's pretty much what it is. I didn't quite see myself in the scene, in the local scene for a while, because there's a lot of country music artists, which now that I'm older, I totally respect. And I love my country boys that I get to collaborate with on some of these folk things. Um, it's, there's not a lot of weird girls doing that. We've got people like Jack Shealy and Gator Nate and all these wonderful musicians. But I didn't quite find another orange hair girl. And it was just, I was really uncomfortable with it at first. But then when you talk to these other musicians, they're not closed-minded either. Like they really do invite you into the scene and they will invite me to go do, shows with them or to do a song or like whatever because we're just a big community. There are times where I have felt like my views are not matched. Not talking about the musicians that I've mentioned, but like in the past growing up and coming from a small, mostly conservative town. You kind of feel like you're running against a really just tough current. And it's been a journey for sure, but as I've aged, I've grown into it. And you can now catch me on Jack Shealy's stage at some point wearing coveralls and a camo shirt because I'm a Southern girl. I'm a Southern gator girl. And I embrace all parts of myself, all of it.
Sometimes it's a garden day and you got to get your coveralls on,
Just
man.
do. You just do. Sometimes you gotta go wrestle a python. Who knows? Sometimes you gotta get your pocket knife and start taking the palm tree and start cutting into a spear to put a hot dog on it.
Oh my God. What is the most like if you were to say iconic Everglades Florida girl moment, like this is it.
Just so we would play manhunt as children and we would just be barefooted in the street, running around in like the mud. And also like there's just like gators and like just wildlife everywhere. So you're trying to avoid snakes and things. And like I would do it at home too. I didn't understand that like mudding with your friends and running around like around in the swamp. I didn't think that wasn't normal until I was way older and I switched schools and they're like, you're a freak. So just my whole childhood is the most Gator Girl thing you will ever hear. There's so many crazy stories. So many stories.
Oh my
So
God.
many. Ugh. Oh my God.
Are there
Fishing.
any crazy stories that you have in a song that you're like, man, I want to share that. I don't know if you're trying to play some tunes or just like talk through all your brainwaves, but I want to give you that invitation if there's anything that you're like, it's in your head.
Um, oh my God, there's like so much going on. I don't know if I can play one because like my guitars are over there and out of tune, but there is some stuff off the next album where I talk about like my grandpa's story, my pa's story and my pop's story about how when they went fishing together, Pops was trying to catch this fish on this little John boat. And Pa's like, come on, pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. And he's like, I'm trying my best. And Pa goes, well, sometimes, son, your best just isn't good enough. And I wrote a whole song called Good Enough because I do feel um that I'm not good enough sometimes. And it's just such a like I heard that story and instantly I was like, okay, this is a whole other thing. Not only is it funny and like just such a great story with my pa and my pops, but also it is like feeling like I'm not good enough in the place that I was raised, like in a hometown situation. Um but then it's just like, will I ever be good enough? Will I ever be good enough? And then it all comes circles back together and it's like I am good enough. I belong here too. And some maybe that fish went swimming away, but there's always another one. So it's very metaphorical situations I find myself in with living here because it's all nature, it's all beautiful. So
That sort of foundational belief. I mean, all of us have that. So it's really wonderful that you're able to tap into something like that and use the element of storytelling in the music as well. And especially like the Florida songs, because Florida has its own culture compared to like other parts of the country. Like we are very much Florida and Florida. And I just love that you're able to do that. And I can't wait to hear it when it comes out. When does it come out?
I don't know. I'm actually set to record in December. But yeah, pretty much all the songs are embracing this place that I've grown up in. And honestly, I sing about the perspective like the birds and, fishing stories and all this stuff, but not being like, I'm from Florida. This is a song about a hurricane. Like, I didn't want to do that. Like, I wanted it to be true to who I am and true to the place I grew up in. So it will be out sometime next year, I do believe. I promise. I'll pinky promise right now. Hold me to
All right.
it.
For those listening at home, we all just held our pinkies up together and we made the promise.
And
Pinky promised.
well, it can never be broken. Then you're gonna go,
I
it's
have to do it now.
binding.
All
What
12
is
songs.
that's it? Do you have any current female musicians on your playlist right now that you are pumped about and inspired to sort of highlight?
Absolutely. Like I was mentioning earlier, I'm in love with Joni Mitchell. I love that woman. I love her storytelling. Absolutely incredible. And I aspire to be like her, especially on my next album too, because it's crazy. But I also really love Kathleen Hanna in any project she's ever been a part of, like Bikini Kill, Le Tigre, um, the Julie Ruin. I even read her book. Like it's so incredible. She's such a great writer and so inspirational. And then I'll name one more if I can think about it real quick. Oh, I can't mention I can't be in any interview without mentioning Haley Williams. Like it's Haley Williams from Paramore. She's the reason I have her hair dye in my hair right now, if you don't know. That's how I get my vibrant orange if anybody wants the secrets. Um but yeah, Haley Williams, like she's the reason why I found exactly who I am. One of the many reasons, but yeah. Those three. Can't go wrong with those three. Powerful ladies.
Awesome. So, past the upcoming album coming out next year, what are like your future goals as a musician? Like, where do you see yourself, or where would you like to see yourself in 5, 10, 20, 80 years? What do you see? What are your goals?
That is a really great question. And I'm going to try and make it as not as lengthy as humanly possible. So I am in school for audio production. I plan on getting my production degree and not only producing my music, but other people's music. And my goal in the next forever is to create as much music and as much community and as much love as I humanly can. And I want to do it all through music and art because not only do I do music, but I like to draw and I like to paint and I like to be creatively me all the time. And I just want to inspire others to find who they are and to, run with it, not just like be afraid of it, but like I just want to bring everybody together, as many people as I humanly can, to like just spread as much love as possible and to enjoy this life experience together. That's my goal, and I want to do it through like sound, mostly sound and lyrics. So, yeah.
You're awesome. Oh man.
You're in
You're
such good
awesome.
company.
I'm glad because sometimes I feel crazy talking like this. I'm such a hippie.
We vibe with hippies.
I'm
Totally.
so glad, rock on. Peace and love. Peace and love.
All the above. If you were okay, so I mean, you've kind of been doing the thing. I'm thinking of like your future goals. You've got these things, and then you look behind you and you see all this stuff that it took to get here. Like, what is sort of a story that comes to mind when you think of like the journey and maybe like a funny tour story or like a highlight that really says this is what describes my musical journey.
Yeah. Let me think. I think it's like I have pretty much the same experience when I'm in a bar room. I've been full-time gigging since I was 14. Um, and there's like this guy, there's always a guy, and he's like, "Hey, sweetie, what do you want to drink?" And at a lot of the time, I'm underage, so I'm like, "Shirley Temple on the rocks, please." And seeing their faces fall is the best way to describe it because I have such a grown-up voice sometimes when I sing and I forget about that, and then people will come up to me trying to like, I don't know what they're trying to do. But it's just really funny to have this lifetime of experience shocking people with my age and not being like, I'm the best singer, but it's just like I've grown up really, really fast. I contain what the cool people call an old soul. And so it's just kind of fun to see the shock through the years because that's pretty much what I've gathered throughout the whole experience. Even though I'm just being me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just rambling now, but it's just funny. Like just all those bar rooms come to mind. So yeah, good times, good times.
Well, I love a good Shirley Temple.
Yeah, and I turned 21 this month actually on the 28th. And it's kind
Get
of
you a dirty Shirley.
Yeah. Oh, I promised Tony at the Boardroom Tavern on Marco. I was like, you gotta make me. He's the bartender there. I was like, you gotta make me my very first dirty Shirley. I'm not gonna have it anywhere else. It's gotta be your bar because they've been letting me play there since I was like 14. And it's kind of crazy when you play so many bars at such a young age, and people don't even know that you don't partake. Like you're just partying and like existing as a kid in that space. And not saying that I wasn't like if I was like I was supervised, guys. I was supervised, but still, it's just kind of funny in retrospect now being older.
Well,
People drink so that they can have a childlike demeanor. You know, that's like our way of being childish. So when you are actually like there and you're authentically killing it as like a jovial, unjaded spirit, we're just inspired.
I'm so glad. I don't want to stick out too much. Too much. We're blending in.
It's fair. Totally.
so all right, we're recording this 26 days before your birthday, but we're also recording this a month away from the Everglades City Music Festival. And I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the music festival, how just a little bit about the festival. I know it's to save the Bank of the Everglades, which has been there since like the 19 somethings. And then also I'm going to ask you after that where people can find all your music online.
Absolutely. Those are really great questions. Um, I've been so basically this festival is at the Rod and Gun Club, which is a very like well-known place. Presidents have stayed there, like all kinds of people have stayed there. So, it's really one of those beautiful things that I enjoy going to because it's such a community-based thing. There's like people in the lawn, they're eating food, people are auctioning off art, there's vendors there, but there's also a lot of folk musicians, a lot of which I don't get to see year round. So we all gather and we figure out the order or whatever, and we all take turns singing about 45-minute hour sets. And it's great because we all play like original music. It's not a time for covers. We play original tunes because we want to promote, like, hey, this is our place. We don't want you to bulldoze over all of our stuff. This is our home. We don't want a McDonald's in the middle of Everglades City. We have one market, we have two gas stations. Like, we're good, man. You want to go get fast food, drive 30 minutes to Naples. We're good on that. If you want real local food, there's plenty of restaurants. Okay? We don't need anything else. We don't need I don't even know what they're trying to build. Probably like a condo or like something stupid. But yeah, it's just one of those very empowering moments when all these people get together to protect our space because it's just historical and amazing. And I remember growing up and going to the museum learning all about it. And when I got older, I was so mad when they wanted to just bulldoze over everything. And I feel like I've been protesting this bulldoze for years at this point. I've played there like every year for like 5 years. Like, stop doing that. Like, why do we have to raise money? Just like, don't do it. Just don't. Like, I don't understand. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking because it makes me so mad. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Stop
Well,
putting things in the Everglades that don't belong there.
well, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. I mean, that's why the building was given to the Historical Society because more people are on your side and Florida is on your side, like true
Yeah.
Florida, people that love it here. So even though you've been protesting forever, like June and I are with you, Florida Folk Show's with you, Radio St.
So
Pete
many
is with
people.
you. Like,
That's the beautiful thing. Like when we need people the most, and like I know people don't want this to happen. It is just the greedy people that have money that can actually make it happen, make us so worried and caught up in it. It's just like I don't understand why they want to be the most evil things. They just can't see past the greed. And I talk about that a lot on my next album too, actually. There's a song called Shame where I talk about money. um Take all the money, throw it away. We give power to such strange things. um we can barely eat most days. The paler I get, the more privilege I see. Pass the torch to my next enemy. Like, they just keep passing it all down the line. And I want to be a voice of change. I don't want to be complicit. And a lot of the conversation in my earlier years were like, oh, don't say that, you can't say that. I will say it, and I will say it proudly. And if they don't like me, they don't have to listen to my music, where they can listen to the parts they like. I don't care what you do. I'm just existing. I have morals. Do you? That's the question. Okay, anyways.
and if people, because lots of people are going to want to listen to your music, I know that I do, I know that June does. Where can we find your music online?
CharliePaceMusic.com. Charlie spelled Lie because I like to lie, and Pace because I keep up the pace. It's a funny way of remembering it, but nobody ever fails to spell it after that. I'm everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, um, SoundCloud. I have a SoundCloud profile somewhere. Twitter. I don't know. I have a little bit of everything. So yeah, CharliePaceMusic.com.
I feel like that needs a woo afterwards.
Woo!
We will
Woo!
find you.
CharliePaceMusic.com. Come. Woo, 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 woo. Confetti cannons or something.
It's amazing.
My name in glitter.
As one deserves.
Yes.
I just see it spelled out in alligators that all just come to the shore, but like it also under it says thank you for protecting us, which is a lot of letters.
Yeah, it's
They
a
would
lot of money.
That's okay. There's plenty enough alligators in the Everglades to spell all that out plus an additional paragraph.
Yeah, I counted enough of them this morning. So like, we're good. We got plenty.
What's your favorite haunt?
My favorite what?
What's your favorite place that you frequent in your world?
In my world, honestly, my backyard. Well, I live on 5 acres. Well, my parents live on 5 acres, and I live in a little shed that my dad built for me. I love this little place with my little window shakers. I am hanging out, okay? But other than that, You'll probably catch me roller skating at the local park and or going to Havana Cafe the next time they open. I love Havana Cafe. Cafe con leche all the way. I love that place. Um, yeah, that's about it. Outside. Just go outside. I live by the fact I had to reserve. Like, go outside. Go walk a trail or something.
Oh, but just watch out for skunk ape.
Yeah, watch out for that. That's down the road with Jack Shealy, like I was talking about. That's down the road. It's real. It's real, big skunk ape is real. He's lurking.
I would probably feed it if I knew
Oh
where.
yeah, just like sometimes I leave pieces of bread out here. Actually, I'm not supposed to say that. Well, because I leave them for my dog, and sometimes they disappear. And so like the joke is the skunk ape comes and eats it. It couldn't possibly be the 10,000 other animals. It's the skunk ape. It
You
might
gotta
be
keep
good to
the
know
skunk.
though.
You gotta keep it happy. I mean,
Yeah.
if it gets hungry, you don't want it to eat you.
I don't want to be food. Friends are fish, not food. That's what I believe in. So, yeah, skunk apes are real. Can confirm. Floridian, Everglades, Floridian can confirm. And if you doubt me, just drive down the road and go experience it yourself. You can Google it.
Well, June, do you have any more questions?
Hmm. I know that those were the main ones that I scheduled in my brain. Are there any that come to mind that have popped up in your world?
In my brain scheduled? So I did an interview earlier today, and then I just like made up this question like 5 minutes before, and I think it became like my favorite question ever. So with your both of your permission, I think I want to end the interview with this. Charlie, if you could say one thing that is radio appropriate because you have an edge, and I love that, to every single person on the planet, just or every single person in Florida, or just everyone ever in creation, if you could say one thing to them, what would you say? It can be long, it can be short, whatever
Yeah,
you want.
I'm gonna think. I'm brooding. Hang on.
Okay.
Um, don't get caught up in all that is life. Try to stay present, try to sit still, and try to observe the things around you instead of running with it all of the time. Of course, we all have to run. We have to get from point A to point B, but try sitting down and listening. No matter where you are, like you don't always have to be upkeeping everything. Just even if you're on a highway, don't listen to music for a second. Roll the window down. Listen to what's around you. Experience. Look at it. Look at the sky. Like, I feel like we're so glued to everything. Just sit still. That's what I want to tell everyone. Sit still for a second. It's a lot more than what you think it is through a screen. So, yeah, sit still.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much to Charlie Pace. Find her music everywhere. She'll be at the Everglades City Music Festival. Everglades City Music Festival, yes, on November 2nd. That's a Saturday. It's super fun. The Rod and Gun Club is really cool. It was not undersold. Thank you so much to June Bunch of Lyrical Ladies. Thank you to Radio St. Pete.